Haunted Michigan. Terrifying Tales.
Hey guys, Meltdown here at Eloise along with Danielle, Lauren, and Jenny. As we're here, I came here a few weeks back with Darren McCarty on his haunt, and I thought, I got to come back here and talk to you guys about this. But first of all, thank you guys so much for having us. And for those of you who are watching, of course, we got Danielle and Lauren and Jenny. If you're listening, well, I guess it's right to left on your radio. I'm not sure how that works. But thanks so much for having me a couple weeks ago. That was so much fun. So, Lauren, you're like the history expert here. So tell us, when was this place built?
So this particular building was built in 1931.
This one we're in right now?
Yes.
Okay.
The K-Beard building also was D building before that. But this particular building was in 1931. Eloise established the hospital and the infirmary established on this property in 1839.
Wow. So how many buildings were there when it first opened? Or like at its maximum peak?
Oh, okay. At its maximum peak, there were over 70 buildings, so like 72.
And how many people were housed and how many people worked here? Because I know that's a big number too.
Yeah, it's a huge number. I'm not quite sure exactly how many worked here. I do know we had, at our max capacity, we had over 10,000 patients at one point.
Now, Danielle, you've been here for how long?
3 years.
Okay, and what do you do here? What's your capacity here?
I'm now head of build and the
Okay.
haunted house. So.
All right, so you kind of do the haunted house stuff below us.
Yep, and
right.
behind us.
All right, so tell us about that.
We have the asylum, which is the main floor, and then we have the basement or the sub-level, which is, the basement. The asylum is more, to history, correct. Mm-hmm. The basement is more sci-fi, bug, alien, hybrid.
Like a haunted house like you'd walk through at Halloween time.
Yeah. Where the asylum, I think the asylum I like the asylum because it's more historically accurate and you feel like you've went back in time. And you go down to the basement and you don't know what's going on.
Just to be fair, I don't do haunted houses, but I do haunted houses, if that makes any sense. Right, Jenny?
We're going to get you in here this year.
Well, that might not happen. But Jenny, so tell everybody what you do here.
So I am the paranormal manager, and I'm also over the event staff during Halloween.
Okay, so what does a paranormal manager do?
So I head up our paranormal events, which are special events, kind of like you were on with Darren McCarty. We also do tours every other Saturday, public paranormal tours, and we also rent the building out for privates, where groups can come with just their group and have the whole building to themselves.
Okay, now you sent me a picture a couple weeks ago, or maybe last week, whatever it was, of what you said was some people. So tell me about that picture, because, all right, when you come here with a group, there's a lot of people, so you're not sure, is that a ghost or is that a person? We can't figure it out, but now they were here like kind of alone and by ourselves.
Yes.
Tell me about that picture.
So it was just me and Kirsten, another manager here.
Who, by the way, runs the escape rooms,
Yes.
which are awesome.
They are. They're
we got to give a
very
plug to the
awesome.
escape rooms.
So we were here. We were just the site reps, so we were just sitting on 2. It was a group, I believe, about...
On the second floor.
Yes, the second floor. It was a group of about 6 people. They came down to 2, and they were pretty excited, and they showed us that they took a picture on 5. The girl said that her group was over by the hydrotherapy tub, and she just thought this glass looked cool. It was busted, looked like a bullet hole, so she took a picture, and on the other side were 2 figures. One of who looks like they're actually wearing a hat, which goes along with our hatman.
Now the hydrotherapy area is where you do the Estes method.
Yes.
And Lauren was with us when Darren McCarty was here. And give that microphone, Lauren.
So Lauren is our best person to do the Estes method with.
Okay. The Estes method, by the way, is tell us what that is first of all, because I can make jokes all day long, but go ahead, tell us what that is.
Sure. So the Estes method is actually named the Estes method because it was developed in Estes, Colorado, at the Stanley Hotel.
Okay, well, yeah, of course, with The Shining.
You're right.
Yeah.
So they developed this method. The method is you are listening to an SB7 spirit box, and you are listening to it through noise-canceling headphones, so you cannot hear the questions that are being asked, and also a blindfold on. That way you cannot see, so you're sensory deprived. So no sight and no sound.
So you're sitting in the tub, and I watched this happen a couple times. We were here last time. So you're sitting in the tub, and then the person sitting in the tub just shouts out whatever he hears.
Exactly.
And when I was up there the one day, someone shouted out a name pretty specific, and I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it was like John Smith or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So you've heard names and stuff and all sorts of things up there.
Absolutely. We get some crazy stuff on the Estes method sometimes.
What's some of the crazier stuff you've gotten?
Always so of course I'm going to mention the Hatman. It's like, so whenever.
So wait, back up. So is this the same person you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So the Hatman is like, whenever we ask questions about the Hatman, all of a sudden it's like a 50-50 chance either the spirits are just going to be completely quiet or you're going to get stuff through Estes that's like, she's coming or run or the bad man, stuff like that. That's just wild to me.
Well, let me ask you this. How many times has the Hatman been spotted? Because I've heard about this in the past. And Danielle, you're shaking your head. You've seen it or have you?
I've heard several people say that they've seen him.
Yeah.
I've never personally, and I would not like to.
Yeah.
We've actually caught him on every floor in a picture or video of some sort. I had one guest show me a video that was really cool. I have it somewhere on my phone, but he was in one of the general population rooms, and he was just doing a video, just panned his camera around, and then he went to go talk to his friend, and you actually see him standing by a window, and then when the camera pans back, he's gone.
So what is like some of the best pictures or video evidence you guys have gathered? And by the way, let me start from the get-go. If I'm not mistaken, Detroit Paranormal Expeditions, were they the first ones to kind of examine this area or investigate, or no?
Kind of. They
Okay.
were one of the first groups on site.
I just know that because I know those guys, obviously, and they told me about that. I think one of your guys told me that as well. But who are some of the other people that have investigated this place?
Oh, we've had we have the Ghost Brothers. They've been here. That was really cool. That's a really good episode. We've had Jack and Katrina.
Mm-hmm.
They did an episode of Portals to Hell here. We've had Project Fear. Back then they were known as Destination Fear. So they've done an episode here. We recently had the Paranormal Files, and they've actually caught a lot of evidence with the Hatman also.
Okay, like what kind of evidence are you talking about?
A lot of stuff through Estes is a lot of it. They caught a lot of equipment hits.
But you don't have a name for this man.
I don't think he has a name, to be honest.
Okay.
Hatmen are not known to be spirits that were at once living. So
Interesting.
they're known as watchers. They're a type of entity that is drawn to places that have a lot of tragic events, or usually people who are going through a lot of traumatic experiences in their life.
Okay, so the Hatman might not have ever been here before.
No, we actually had a really interesting SE session, a couple recently, where we were told that he was brought here, specifically a few times through a portal that's in the basement.
Well, I won't be going in the basement. I have to say that. So, yeah, Danielle's got to go down there and work. So I'll tell you what. Let's go down the way. We'll start with Danielle first, since we'll give you the microphone here. So what is the biggest evidence you've seen personally of any paranormal activity here? Because I know that you have stories.
So the first year we were in the building as a haunted house.
And what year is this?
What was that, 2021?
Okay, so post-pandemic.
Yes.
Yeah.
It all blends together.
Right, exactly.
The haunted house was running. I was down there. I was doing relief breaking. So I was breaking all the actors so they could go and use the restroom and everything. And I was standing in the dark hallway, and the only light was an exit sign, like the glowing red exit sign. And I'm just standing there waiting for a group to come through, and I seen a very large shadow, come across the ceiling, down the wall in front of me, and back down the hallway. I was so scared I couldn't move.
And how long did this last?
It felt like 20 minutes, but it was probably 30 seconds.
Okay, wow, 30 seconds, that's a long time.
It was very terrifying, and everyone was like, oh, yeah, that's the creeper. And I was like, great, thanks. And kind of went on, just tried to put it back in my head because I had actors to take care of. Recently, we've come back and we started rebuilding things, and I had a large, dark hand drop down in front of my face to the point where I almost fell backwards onto my butt because I thought something was trying to grab me.
And how long ago was this?
2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Really? Since I've been here or just before?
That was after you were here.
Yeah, that was after you guys were here, yeah.
No kidding.
We were down in the basement. It was just crazy. And then you could hear footsteps, like somebody was kind of stalking us. It was me and Kirsten. Yeah, it gets crazy down there.
Well,
No, we called for help. They were so they were doing an investigation on 5 on Facebook Live, and we didn't know that they were doing an SD session, and it talked about 2 redheads. Well, me and my wife both have red hair right now. We just dyed it. We were in the basement doing our own paranormal investigation that something was like stalking us. There was, I think, 5 of us. We were backed into a corner. It was like noise in front, noise in back, noise in front. Things were moving. There was a lamp that I just hung that was swinging for no reason, to the point where we called these guys from 5 and we're like, please come down here now. It was terrifying. And the fact that we were all grown adults huddling in a corner.
and this just happened since I've been here.
That was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, okay. So tell everybody about the creeper, because you just kind of you kind of glance past it. But what's the creeper?
From my understanding, the creeper is a very lanky figure that likes to crawl on walls and ceilings and likes to play with your hair.
In this particular building?
As far as I know, yes.
Mm-hmm. All right. So what do you think? What's your Lauren? What's your if you've done many tours here? You've seen many things. When I was here with you with Darren McCarty, like I said, that guy sat in there and clearly shouted out a name. Mm-hmm. What have you seen here?
So mine is more of an audible experience that I had. I was alone on 5, did not realize I was alone. I thought I had guests up there. Yeah. I started hearing footsteps. And then I got real scared, but I was like, you're a paranormal investigator. Put your big boy pants on. These are just footsteps, right?
Right.
So, and then I started hearing like real fast running footsteps. Then I got real nervous. And then I'm not sure what happened, but all hell broke loose down the hall. It was like boom, bang, crash. And I started screaming at the top of my lungs. I'm like, who's up here? Who's up here? Is anyone here? And like, no, I got no response call back. I did a walkie call because I was so nervous, and I got 4 walkie. I was like, is any guess on 5? And I got 4 walkies back that they were all downstairs doing an experiment with a Tesla coil. So needless to say, I packed up all my stuff and got the hell off that floor.
And how long ago was this?
This was last year. Mm-hmm.
Do you think that sometimes when you're when you're on a floor like 5, you guys say there's a lot of activity on 5, and sometimes maybe your mind plays tricks on you?
Yes, I do think that can happen for sure. However, I know that time was not that.
Okay.
But I do think that is something you can, psych yourself up for, or maybe see something, out of the corner of your eye.
But you've given many tours. Have you had experiences with people that were here that had caught something on video or pictures or anything like that?
Oh yeah, we have a lot of those. I've got a whole folder full on my Google's photos, just full of the pictures and stuff that guests have caught. And a lot of it is what our guests catch. I swear they see us all the time, so they don't, sometimes they don't like to come out for us as much. And it's like all of the pictures are from the guests. It's really cool.
What?
Oh.
Well, you saw the creeper, Danielle. I don't know. It's like,
They like me.
Yeah.
I've turned off the same fog machine 3 times in the past week. Nobody else has really been here.
I think they like aggravating her.
Yeah.
What it is. I think it's aggravating.
Aggravating.
Yeah.
So Jenny, what do you say? What's something that you saw that you maybe couldn't explain? Because here's the thing: when it comes to this kind of stuff, I like to see if you can explain it first.
Yes, and we actually 100% agree with that. Thank you. We 100% agree with that. A lot of the times we try to debunk it first, we try to debunk it first because we, if anything, want to be legit. We don't want to say something's paranormal and it not be, because that could cause the reputation of this whole place and everything, we kind of stand for. So one of my, I actually have 2 that stick out. One of my favorites is me, Lauren, and Kirsten were doing a live. We came down, we were wrapping up for the night. We were headed out to the door. We were on the steps of 2, and all 3 of us, we heard a audible man scream, like in pain, like just a man scream coming from the upper floors. And we all stopped and just looked at each other and we're like, what the? I mean, it was loud. He sounded like he was in pain. And I was just like, this building has an alarm system. Just go. If it's anything, it'll go off when we set the alarm. And we did, and there was nothing. And that was pretty amazing. I was pretty intrigued by that.
And then the other one?
The other one, so that was actually caught by one of our guests. Her name was Tracy. Kirsten was on this one too. We were down 2. Me and my group walked. It was a tour. We walked up to 2, and there was about 4 of us that heard when we stepped onto the floor. We heard a woman say hello. She was just hello, just like, greeting us. And I didn't say anything. I usually never say anything when I hear something because I want to see if anyone else reacts to it first. And everyone was like, "Did you hear that? Did you hear that?" So I showed him evidence that I got on 2 before, and I said, "Well, let's try something." I said, me and my group are going to go down into one of the rooms on further back in the hall and do an EVP session. And I said, Kirsten, you and a guest that volunteered, which ended up being Tracy, stand out and just record down the hallway, because I caught a lot of shadow figures down that hallway. It's the same hallway that we caught a very distinct picture of the Hatman. I said, just film, just record, and let's see what we get. And we're doing the EVP session, and a little bit into it, I hear, Jenny, come here, you got to see this. And Tracy said she saw, from what I remember, a black flash go across her screen. And when you watch the video, you actually see, and they didn't see anything with their eyes, but you actually see in the video a woman. You can't see any facial features, but you see black hair. She sticks her head out, looks down our way, and then just flips her head back, and the hair flips inside.
Now, what floor was this on?
That was on 2.
Okay, so I think you showed me that picture, correct? Or you showed me the
video, yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and the creepiest part was I had to clear the floor after that when I saw it to make sure there was nobody down there, and there wasn't. I knew I didn't have anyone that, looked like that on the team, but I had to walk down there and make sure the floor was clear. Then I called security and was like, hey, you guys might want to come up here. Just to me, it would be scarier if it was a human, in my opinion. If a human snuck in, I'd be more worrisome over that than it being an actual ghost.
Now, have you guys had guests that were touched?
Yes. We've had a lot of guests that were touched, scratched, pushed, hair pulled.
Yeah, they like to play with your hair.
Yeah, they do like to play with your hair here.
Yeah, the mohawk, right? Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So, Lauren, you're shaking your head right away. What have you witnessed where people are touched or?
One time I had a guest. She came up to me and she was showing me her arms. She said she was scratched. She had a couple red marks on her arms. A lot of times I have women say that they feel a touch on the booty. On occasion.
The Hatman, obviously.
Yeah, obviously the Hatman. But those are the more things that I've seen our guests experience personally.
So let's get back to more of the history of this place. So why do you think that spirits kind of reside here? Obviously there's a history of there's been a history of bad things that have happened here. Mm-hmm. Obviously, 100 years ago, the health system wasn't what we have today, and they were trying everything to get people to do whatever, and it's like they were tortured, perhaps. But what do you think?
Well, I think there are a lot of spirits here just in general because of tragedy and things like that happening. Or we've had... There's so many people that died here. Like, I cannot even put an estimate. There's a cemetery. It's called Potter's Field. There's over 7,000 unnamed graves in that alone, and that was only in use for 38 years. So out of the 147 years Eloise was in operation, only 38 of them and over 7,000 are unnamed. Those are just the unnamed ones.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, I've heard about tunnels and stuff.
Oh, yeah, there's tunnels under here. They are closed off now, though. They're cemented.
Okay, I was going to say, because I've only been on the floors, but the tunnels, I've heard some crazy stuff about.
Yeah, the tunnels, they used to be here to connect the buildings to each other. And like I said, they're unfortunately no longer in operation and are cemented in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, Danielle, you've been touched. You said your hair was touched and stuff. So, what else has happened?
When we were doing Build the first year, like before this was any sort of haunted attraction, everybody was getting touched.
Now, back up for 1 second. So, haunted attraction, the downstairs area, or just letting people roam the halls?
When I say haunted attraction, I mean like the actual haunted house.
Okay.
So there was no haunted house. There was no escape rooms. They were doing paranormal at the time. But yeah, this was all pretty much empty, just offices. So we got in and had to clean everything out and build the haunted house. We were down in the basement, funny enough, and one of the guys I was working with kept saying he was seeing something in like the back corner of the room. And I was like, quit messing with me, it's not funny, leave me alone. And I was using my drill and I was screwing up into one of the wall panels. And I was a good 3-4 feet away, well, maybe 2-3 feet away from my face. And all of a sudden, the drill came towards my face and put the drill bit right through the side of my nose. And everyone that was standing around me, because, I was working with a crew, they just looked at me like, how did that happen? And I was like, I don't even know. And I had a little, like, Phillips head mark on my nose for a few days. People were getting their hands grabbed, like their pants tugged, like almost like a child, asking you for attention. It was really active during that time.
Now, outside of the hatman, has there, you talked about the woman and stuff. Is there any other, spirits that are regularly seen or witnessed?
We get a few through Estee's session. We get a Steve a lot. He seems particularly fond of Lauren. Even when we go to other locations, it always comes up when she does Estee's is Steve, the name Steve. We haven't been able to connect anything with Steve though, like anything in the past. So, but we get Mike a lot, we get John a lot. Those tend to come through.
So some of the spirits have called you guys names. Is that right?
You want to tell them that story?
So when we were down in the basement hiding, trying to get these guys to come save us, we had a spirit box going. And as soon as we called Jenny, it said, "Jenny, bitch." And we all just went, "What?" And then she came down and the activity stopped. I was like, that's not fair.
Yeah.
Usually I get a lot of activity here. I'm also probably the one that is more, I don't know how to describe it. I'm very I don't want to say demanding, but I'm more so you guys have to stay here. You're not allowed to touch us. You're not allowed to use our energy. I'm more of that person.
You're the dominant force. You're like, this is...
This is how you guys are going to act.
Things are, yeah.
Stop messing with Danielle.
Yeah.
For a day.
I actually said that when we were walking the hall. Lauren's side started hurting her when she walked in, and she made a joke that they shanked her. and I was like, you guys are not allowed to touch Lauren. You leave her alone. So I think that's why they perceive me in that manner.
Jenny, I'm going to need you to tell them to not kick my crutches out from underneath me.
I don't know. That might be kind of funny.
So we're in this building right now, and there's, if I'm not mistaken, is there 6 stories on this floor in this building?
Technically 7. Technically 7.
Okay, and you guys always point to 5. What makes 5 so intriguing?
So, did you want to answer? You want me to answer that? So I think 5's intriguing. To me, when you go up to 5, it has a whole vibe in itself. It just feels different. I think that's where the criminally insane men were kept. We've caught a lot of more, malicious or aggressive type energy responses up there. We've caught a lot of shadow figures up there. That's where a lot of we get out. We get, leave, those type of responses. I think that's why.
What do you think, Lauren?
Why 5? I think the same thing she does. I was like, because of the floor being for the mentally criminally insane, males, I think that women up there have a really great time. When I was up there by myself, I literally think they were trying to just get me off the floor, so, which they were successful at. A lot of crazy stuff on 5, just in general. It's like she said, it's a whole different vibe. In solitary confinement too up there, women especially have a hard time, I feel like, on tours and things. Guess they have a hard time in the solitary confinement on 5.
And there were, speaking of solitary confinement, there was rooms on the ends that were like the sunrooms or something where people could go and just kind of hang out in these rooms, but they couldn't really go outside. Is that right?
I'm not They could go outside.
I thought that there were some rooms where they could go. There were like sunrooms where the sunlight would come in.
We
That-
were talking about the big long rooms at
Yeah.
the end of each hall. Yeah, I mean, if you look on Google, there are pictures where they show that the room was filled with plants and like a chair and places they could sit and read. The one thing about Eloise is it changed so much over time that I don't think it was ever just that at one point. I mean, I think it was, but I think it was all also different things.
Yeah, it's this place is so fascinating. Like I said, the first time I was here was a month ago or whatever it was. But you guys have been doing this for a while now, and people seem to love this stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've been told this by a lot of people that this building just has a pull on you, which it does. I mean, I've been here for, 5 years almost, I think. And it does. It's weird. We have our off season, and that's usually between like December and like February. We really don't do much because the building gets so cold, and you miss it. And then when you come back, you're kind of like, wow, I'm where I should be. Like,
It's Hotel California. I've always called it Hotel California. Like, you can check out, but you can never leave.
You can never leave,
it
right.
Always wants you to come back.
I don't know what that means, but okay, I'll go with you on that. So, yeah, that's great. So what else, and as we start to wrap things up here, what else would you want to inform people of as far as what Eloise is all about?
So I do want to add, I think a lot of Eloise gets like a bad rep, sort of, like a lot of what they did here, but I think there was a lot of good that was done here too. I think there was a lot of doctors, a lot of nurses that really wanted to help people here. If you see a lot of the pictures, you can Google those. You'll see them kind of sitting around doing music therapy, watching TV. They would have a Christmas tree here. So I think that places like this and Eloise gets a bad rap when I think there was a lot of good here. I think there's a lot of residual stuff here, and maybe that's why a lot of the spirits did stay here, because they thought it was home. You know, a lot of people that were unwanted at the time were put here. So
Yeah, aside from Eloise being an asylum, it was also poorhouse, so poor farm. So we also housed the homeless. They actually had a much larger population than the insane here. So, you know, and a lot of good did come out of this. Like, so the very second ever kidney transplant in Michigan was done here at our general hospital. The very second ever person dialysized in the United States was at our hospital. When x-rays were developed, we were one of the first hospitals in the area that did x-rays for diagnosing fractures, and we did all of the heavy lifting for x-rays in the area. So Detroit, Ann Arbor, like they all came here, and Eloise did them free of charge. They didn't charge them at all.
Now, you said something about there was 30 lobotomies perhaps done here?
Yeah, in the 30s, something around that number.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yes. You know, along with the good, there is some bad. It's science and medicine. It always improves.
yeah, I mean, at the time they thought that was a way to heal certain stuff. I mean, they didn't know. So, but yeah, I mean, it is pretty crazy when you look up what actually a lobotomy is.
Yeah.
We actually have lobotomy tools that we bring on investigations.
Yeah, I have some to use as
a
trigger objects.
So coming up here, now you guys are open every other weekend, you said?
Yeah.
For paranormal tours, and then every opposite weekend of that, we have the history tours.
What's the history tour? What's that?
History tour is a 3-hour tour. Sorry. It goes from noon to 3. We do a tour of the building. Then I have a presentation, and then we do a tour of the grounds. And it's during the daytime. So if you're not into the spooky, scary, paranormal stuff, come on a history tour. I'd love to talk to you.
Yeah, there you go. And then, of course, as we get into the Halloween season, what happens?
Yeah, so we open up our haunted house, which Danielle can tell you a whole lot about. I run the outside, so all the crazies that are outside, I take care of. Crazies inside is Danielle's warehouse.
Yeah, I have the inmates that are running the asylum.
So when does that start?
I believe we're starting the last weekend in September.
Okay.
I might be wrong. And then
Is it like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, something like that? Was it?
Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
And then we can't forget the escape rooms that are around.
Escape
all year
rooms are
round.
fantastic, and my group escaped with 11 minutes left to go, thanks to my brain power.
Of course.
Yeah.
Was it your daughter's?
No, it was my brain power. They think they're smart. But so people can go online and get tickets and do all that
Yep.
kind of stuff. So yeah, so you have 2 escape rooms, correct?
Yep.
Yes, we have the Heist and the Asylum. Kirsten's over there shaking her head, yes.
I think I did the Asylum one, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
you did escape the asylum.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun. I was kind of skeptical. I'm like, escape rooms. I've done one before, and we didn't escape. Maybe that's why I didn't like it so much. But I did like this one. It was fun, though. It was really cool. We did it with a group of, like, I don't know, maybe like 15 strangers or something.
I think it was 15. Darren McCarty was in the group. But yeah, you guys got out. I was impressed. It's a very well put together. It was a very well put together escape room. They did a fantastic job.
No, it's really a lot of fun. If you get a chance, come down here and check out the escape room. Well, Danielle, Lauren, Jenny, Gwen, thank you guys so much, not only for your hospitality and bringing us in here, and of course my guys and stuff, but a few weeks ago, it was so much fun coming here to Eloise. I almost said Heloise now. See, that would be kind of cool.
Oh. Patent pending. It's
Yeah,
ours now.
right, exactly. I'll have my lawyers contact you guys. But yeah, Eloise right here in Westland, right here on Michigan Avenue. And if you get a chance, come and take the history tour, take, of course, the paranormal tour, and then the haunted house and the escape rooms and everything Eloise has to offer. Thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.